Yahweh, who is the equivalent of Yaldabaoth, the vengeful jealous God. The one who called himself jealous in Exodus and said, "For you shall worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." He commanded his people not to worship any other God, which begs the question, if Yahweh is the one and only God, of whom could this God be jealous of? This God is nothing but a jealous slanderer, a false blind God, who has the names Yaldabaoth, sucklers, which means a fool, and Samael, which is associated with a blind God, who doesn't know where he is from. Yaldabaoth is the God who created the earth and all the people in it. He imprisoned Adam and Eve in a garden as slaves and forbade them to gain any knowledge of what their real situation was. He kept them subservient, dumb and stupid, forever bound to the earth and dust from which they came, never knowing the difference between good and evil, never knowing how this spark of life came to them, or how it could be freed. Yaldabaoth is the god of chaos, the deformed offspring of Sophia. He is the god of this world which he created, the God of every man and woman now living on this earth. He is the God of this age. 2 Corinthians 4:3 says, "Whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine on them." This is how it was for everyone, until Jesus came into the world. As the light of the world he brought news of a kind but unknowable God, one who is a father to us all. He showed us how to free ourselves from slavery and bondage, and to be free of the God who is no God, nothing but a demiurge. Jesus came to show us the way back home and how to save the spark of the divine that gives us all life, to raise those who think they are living but, in all reality, dead. I think the truth may be more complicated than you might think. Because, in a nutshell, the Old Testament God Yahweh and the Quran Allah are in fact the Gnostic demiurge, Yaldabaoth. One is the ancient God of the Hebrews Yahweh, and the other is the demiurge of Gnosticism and other dualistic faiths. They are all the same but not the true unknowable Father in heaven. Whereas the true Father is pure spirit and an unknowable being, while the demiurge is the opposite. And as well, Yaldabaoth is a being of a purely physical and materialistic existence. In Gnosticism, and again in other early faith systems, it was not God who created the physical world, it was Yaldabaoth. In most accounts Yaldabaoth is described as chief among the 7 archons, seemingly synonymous with the archangels of modern Christianity, and therefore seems to be synonymous also with the character Satan. But the chief difference here is that while Satan is described as being a fallen angel and therefore inferior to God, Yaldabaoth is clearly described as the polar opposite of the Father, however his equal. In this story, or in one version of it, Yaldabaoth and the 7 archons under him were tasked by the Father with creating the world according to the divine blueprint laid out for them. But Yaldabaoth was an arrogant being and thought he knew better than God how everything should be. And therefore, creation was flawed and broken from the very beginning, not a result of the fall of man in the Garden of Eden. But now imagine that Yaldabaoth and Yahweh and Allah, as well as Satan, are all the same entity as well. Therefore, the later arrival of Jesus can be seen as the Father in the flesh. He is here to rescue